Hi, welcome to the Triple D Livestream. Dungeons, Dragons, and Discourse. I am Eric Tenkar, your bartender in the OSR. With me, stage, always the opposite side of what I think he's going to be. Stage right, my left. Well, whatever. Whatever.
Whatever.
Whatever is none other than Glenn Halstrom, Old Man Grognard.
Hi, boys and girls. Want to play some D&D? No. Stop it with the vegetables.
Not 5e. I don't want to play 5e. Yeah.
Hey, kids. Yeah, I would. I would never want to be a kiddie show host, but I would love to be a horror show host. Those guys have so much fun.
A horror show host for kids? How about that?
Well, yeah. I mean, I think Svengoolie's got the market cornered right now. Hey, TX.
Svengoolie, I have friends that talk about Svengoolie all the time, including our friend John, the 80-year-old retired detective. And I have yet to see a Svengoolie. I guess I am.
I've seen his clips, but I don't. He's on that MeTV streaming service,
right?
We don't get it. It's not on the Roku or anything. But I have seen like clips of his stuff on YouTube. And he was a Chicago staple. He gets all the love because he's about the only guy on streaming who's doing it.
So, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, Chicago had Svengoolie and Son of Svengoolie, who's now just Svengoolie. In LA, we had I can't think of his name. That's weird. Seymour.
We I don't know.
Yeah,
we had with our public.
It was he had a large nose and mustache. He used to wear a floppy like shadow type hat and a cape, and he seems like he always had a cigar, and he talks like this. Right now, we're going to watch Dracula. That was done a long time ago. Okay, Fringies, let's go.
There
you go. He was fun. I think Elvira came out of LA too. Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay, Elvira. That's making me feel old. She's probably going to be in her 70s now, so I really feel old. God.
Oh my gosh.
Every one of us. So, folks, we have a lot of weird.
You know what made me feel old?
What?
I saw a news article on Facebook that Eminem, the rapper, walked his daughter down the aisle at her wedding recently.
Oh, I saw something.
Now I'm old. My stepson should feel old.
He should be skipping down the aisle or.
Well, no, I mean the fact that I remember him doing songs about his little daughter that he would take care of and the wife and all that, and all of a sudden she's, my God, I am old.
All right.
Hello, Tammy. Hello, Doc.
I'm going to tell you why I feel old. My son turned 30 at the end of last month. If that doesn't make tell me about it. The gray hair, right? Yeah. So.
Oh yeah.
God help.
I'd show you my hair, but I just got a haircut yesterday, and there's even less of it. So.
Oh yes, actually, no, folks. Here's a quick update. Tabletop Tap Room, Tom Veralt had an episode up on his YouTube channel about the recent filing of bankruptcy by new TSR.
Oh, really?
Yes, and Tom did a very good breakdown, very in depth, and he got hit with a privacy complaint.
Who is this? Which one?
TSR.
Was that? No, I mean was that Dungeon Delver? Or?
No, Tabletop Tap Room.
They got a hit. Oh, okay.
They got a hit.
Sorry
for the coverage, and had to put out a censored version of the video. But YouTube came back with, "Hey, you know what? You're right. This is public news. This is all publicly available information about a public figure in a public company, and the complainant can go pound sand." So, 2 thumbs up, Tom. Excellent job. They're not and I'm just using that in general, those that are putting in these complaints recently are pretty much mostly falling flat. You
I
know,
should go over Dungeon. I should go to Dungeon Delver because that's the first place I heard it. And he showed the lawsuit. I mean, he showed the bankruptcy.
right?
He didn't do an in depth, but he kind of skimmed over the important parts. So I want to find out if they've been hitting him with the privacy too.
You know, just I find this so very interesting. T, your oldest is 15. You're just yeah, with his snapper, you get off my lawn, you and your damn kids.
Eric, I have a constant reminder I'm old with Gage being around, who's 19.
Oh, all right. Well.
And his brother, who is 16, who has his electrician's apprentice card already.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. He wants to be an electrician, and he's going to Votech for it.
Dude, that's well done. Especially, listen,
well, he dropped out of high school because he was bored. Okay. He said, "I'd rather go learn a trade." Well, and he's working on his GED.
Okay.
So I'm just going to do GED and go to trade school. Well, at least you have a plan. You're not one of those guys. Well, I'm just going to drop out and go work. That kind of thing. No plan.
But honestly, you know what? My son did the same, but he wanted to be an EMT. So he dropped out, did his EMT training, and then said, "You know what? I'm going to finish high school and now he actually had both." Yeah, sometimes the world works mysterious ways. Not everybody's path is going to be the same.
Well, he was going to like school in the morning and then Votech in the afternoon, but he finally said he's too smart for it. Basically, okay. It's like I'm bored. Let me go learn this. So, what are you going to do? So, Gage is. I mean, I graduated high school. I'm sure you graduated high school.
I
but in the immediate family, my two stepsons and my grandsons and stuff, the girls are still a little too young for that. But so far, Gage is the only one, and this includes Becky too, the only one in this this immediate family who has graduated high school besides me. Yeah.
Wow.
Isn't that weird?
With my family, I was the oldest, so of course you had to go to college because my father never finished college. I had to provide for the family. My mother never went to college, but she did some finishing school, learned office skills and typing and shorthand and stuff like that. But so I had to go to college, and then when I wanted to drop out of college, I was told there's no fucking way you're dropping out of college. So I was on the 8.5-year plan, folks. My sister started 4 years after me. We graduated in the same class, so that was interesting. But
hey, go down to do Doc's. He mentioned what Lanas is doing now, and you have something to say about that. I know.
Okay, so Doc, yes, it is well documented that much of the stock that was formerly labeled TSR, including the Dungeon Crawl board game, now has new stickers and new photos showing that it is for OSR games, including those pesky goblins. And there was a sale announcement announced on the TSR-games.com website, talking about there's going to be a big sale. Well, the big sale apparently is canceled because if you looked at the bankruptcy filing, you can find that I do a video, a brief overview of the bankruptcy filing from right at the announcement. I have a Dropbox folder of all the publicly available documents that were filed in the Wizards of the Coast case about the bankruptcy. You can grab it all there, read it yourself. But the stated assets for TSR, which had two offices, one in Wisconsin, one in North Carolina, two offices, 0 assets, no staplers, no table, no chairs,
no red stapler,
not even an old pencil nub sitting somewhere, 0 physical assets. So, if You have information that you think would be beneficial to the trustee. In this case, there's a trustee, and it's a Chapter 7 bankruptcy. There is a trustee assigned to this. Kind of like if there's like an estate and there's a dispute in the estate when somebody passes, there's a trustee assigned. Like there's a trustee assigned in the Gary Gygax estate now. The trustee has a responsibility to catalog and find a value for all the items and to ensure that nothing has been misplaced, moved, um, somewhere where it's not supposed to be. So if you think that you have information that would be applicable to what the trustee's job is, that paperwork, like I said, you can download, will include the trustee's phone number and an email address where you can contact. I've been following conversations in the community at large. A large number of people have forwarded information that they think would be applicable to this. Listen, I'm listed as a creditor. I don't even know why, because
take the money and run.
Yeah, well, but $0. I'm listed as a creditor $0.
Yeah.
So, but the Wizards of the Coast case, I'm going to talk about that specifically, is currently on hold. It's on a stay, which means, and this is when it becomes interesting. It means that the case will not proceed until the bankruptcy is complete, up to a year. It does not, however, put any limitations or any stays and any orders that any judge assigned to the case may have issued. So that will be interesting, and I'll just leave it at that. Now I'll catch up with some more of the chat. Yes, trade schools are a good thing.
I guess this is my live stream YouTube part where I get to catch people up on what I did at the con. I'm sure you did it many times over already. But before that,
post con, you're right, Glenn.
Yeah, but before that, put the link up. I found a not really Kickstarter. It's done by BackerKit, but there is a Kickstarter type thing that I am lusting over.
He's lusting, folks. It's
called The Vault of Many Things.
All right, hold on a second here.
And unfortunately, it's way out of my financial sphere. But there it is. Isn't that beautiful? They have the it's the standee things. I love those things. And I just thought I'd plug that, while I do the show. I found it like 5 minutes before we started. And because I saw somebody put it on Facebook, and I go, oh man, this starts at $110. There's two levels, 110 and 200. The $200 level, you get everything plus a carrying case. And it's like, okay, which kidney can I do without?
There you go. Now, it had to go to 50,000. By the way, it's not on Kickstarter. This is on BackerKit. This is BackerKit doing its own crowdfunding, cutting out the middleman. This has raised $167,000. Now, mind you, it has 105 minutes left. So the timing in this is
what? My God.
Yep. So here, to make this simple for folks, I am going. If you're interested, I don't game master of face-to-face unless I'm going to a con. And even then, I don't, unless I'm driving to it, I'm not going to be able to bring this up with me. But I'm going to put the link. It's up in the chat. This is, if nothing else, go take a peek. If you DM games in person, this certainly could be something that will be interesting for you.
Oh man, I give up my tokens for that. I would. There was one year that Arc Night came to North Texas, and I was waiting for them to come next year. They never came back because it's like, okay, I've got the money now. I can get all their stuff. Where the hell are they? And this is the kind of thing I was looking for. You know, I mean, they've got all sorts of, they got a lot of stretch goals, and they've got all kinds of add-ons you can put. Not just the standee miniatures, but dungeon terrain and forest and whatever. I don't really care about that. I just want the standees. But yeah, this one came at a bad time for me. So, oh well, I carry on.
Carry on, my wayward son. So that's interesting, folks. Vault of Many Things. It's a great title, by the way. Vault of Many Things. All right, actually, hold on a second before we pass away from it. It looks like there's a video.
Miniatures can be a great way to bring a tabletop RPG to life, but buying, painting, and storing hundreds of minis can be a huge hurdle. That's why we created the Vault of Many Things, a comprehensive solution for tabletop adventures.
By the way, folks, neither Glenn nor I are being paid for this. I knew nothing about this until right before we hopped in.
You're right. Paid for it, I'd rather.
We'll be discussing paid shills later on in the show. This has nothing to do with paid shilling. Trust me.
Yeah.
The vault contains over 400 standees for heroes, monsters, bandits, townsfolk, guards, animals, undead, and a vast variety of other creatures one might encounter in an adventure. We've carefully curated the selection of heroes and foes for Dungeons & Dragons, Pathfinder, Blades in the Dark, 5 Leagues from the Borderlands, 13th Age, and similar fantasy games. The gorgeous figures are hand-drawn by Marshall Short, who has been creating tabletop art for years on a Patreon supported by thousands of players. Each standee is printed on high-quality cardstock and fits into a custom-designed base for heft and presence.
Wow.
The base can be further customized with two-sided art to suit the environment.
Whoa.
But that's not all. The Vault of Many Things also includes terrain and props for dungeons, forests, and towns, enabling you to fill out an exciting...
Now, I'm going to throw a comment to you in here right now. Dwarven Forge, I was collecting this shit for a couple of years, and it's beautiful stuff. Don't get me wrong. It's a pain in the ass to store, and if you aren't using it actively, it is.
This is why I don't have it. I couldn't justify it, and I don't have the space anyway.
Yeah, I don't blame you. This is something...
encounter with cover and interactive elements. The vault itself contains compartments for organizing all your game materials, a removable dice rolling tray, a large drawer for storing notes and bigger terrain and standee pieces, and a creature catalog system for organizing all the standees for easy deployment and fast cleanup. Imagine hundreds of minis at your fingertips, as well as your dice, notes, and terrain, all contained within a tidy box for easy storage.
That's a very cool organizational way to put this stuff.
It is.
Storage and transport. Unlock your adventure with the Vault of Many Things.
Wow.
Yeah, Doc says this video is killing me. It's not doing too well to my health either. We don't get paid. We don't get paid for that. We don't throw that out. But if the guys who are running it want to, put me up for the $200 pledge level, that would be nice.
Glenn saying, "I'm not looking for pay. I'm looking for loot." No, but
it's like I'm all about payola.
Well, here's the thing,
or plugola.
And Glenn and I talked about this before the show because the pundit did a video basically saying, "Don't do paid reviews. Take the pledge, and don't." As a consumer, don't endorse paid reviews. And you know what? He's right. Now, on this channel, we don't do paid reviews. I know people have said and I will call it this, the Rainbow OSR Discord, well, Tenkar takes paid reviews. I don't. I might chill stuff. I chill it because I find it exciting and I like it. I don't get paid to do it. All right. And I don't do reviews for the most part. I do highlights. I look at stuff, and that's great. But I think there are a lot of people that do better reviews than I do, honestly, at least for the time that I can devote to doing it. But when I have a connection to a publisher or something I'm talking about, I mention it. Oh, I've known James Bond for a dozen years or whatever. You need to know my connections while I'm talking about a product or highlighting it. I believe that that's important. If I don't want to be the asshole that takes money to pimp something. I've criticized that in the past. There was a time when N-Word was doing articles that were really paid advertising, running as articles and not being indicated as such. They quickly fixed that when I actually mentioned it to one of the companies involved who didn't know that their advertisement was being run as an article. So this is something that you as the consumer need to be on top of. I'm not saying there shouldn't be sponsorships. I happen to don't really do sponsorships, but I'm not saying sponsorships are bad. Sponsorships are fine as long as they're disclosed. That's fine. And if you want to talk about a product and it's paid, come up and say, "Hey, listen, I got this is a paid advertisement."
Mm-hmm.
You got to do truth in advertising, folks. And we know that some people are less truthful than others. And I'm not going to name names, but if you're going to take compensation to show, at the very least, be very clear you're taking compensation to show.
Always up front. Always up front. I mean, I always like full disclosure.
Yep.
Yeah, my stance on it is I agree with him. Now, there's that versus compensation, aka freebies. I like the physical. If I'm doing a review of a physical product, I would like a copy of the physical product if they can get it to me. Otherwise, it'll have to wait until I go buy it, and then I'll do it. Because some of my reviews, I actually bought the stuff, but people like Glenn Seal, who sends me everything he does, and other people like that, I try to give a fair review, and I tell them, look, I'm going to give it a fair review. I'm going to tell you people what I think, the good and the bad. I don't really do bad reviews because I think life is too short for bad reviews, but I will tell you if there's something that comes up short on there. And as far as if they paid me for it, I mean, some people see this as the same thing. It could be, but if you're handing me money, there's almost to me, it's almost an implicit. It's implicit to say you better give this a good review.
Oh, exactly.
Because I paid you for it. Well, in a way, they paid me with product, but that again, I just feel that the physical copy has got to speak for itself, not because somebody paid me or gave it to me.
Right.
The product has to stand, but on its own. And I only think that's fair. I have yet to ever go to do a review on YouTube where I go, this thing stinks.
Oh.
This is junk. I just don't believe it. And also I have the philosophy of every game I look at, there's got to be something I can take. There's always something I can take away from it. Even if I don't run the game or play in the game, there's like a mechanic or the feel or something I can take and use for my games. Every game has something. Encounter. Yeah, everything has something.
I'll be honest with you, Glenn. Early on in my blogging career, before I started becoming a publisher, I was a featured reviewer on Drive-Thru, well, RPG Now, and I would get PDF review copies, and that was great. And I mean, it was insane the amount that you would get, and I didn't really use 99%. But I remembered one, and there was this D&D adventure, and it looked like it was going to be really cool because the initial 2 reviews were 5-star reviews. And oh my God, now these were those 5-star reviews that's like, oh my God, this is the best thing since sliced bread. It is so exciting. I can't wait for the next one in the series, and tells you nothing about it. Mm-hmm. Well, after I purchased the product and I did a little review and investigation, those 2 reviews were written by playtesters.
No.
And this was by far the shittiest adventure I had ever read. It was it not only was it a railroad, but there were these will-o-wisps that if you stepped off the train
path?
that they would shock you for like 4d6 damage, no save.
Oh,
so you had no choice but to progress along the path, and I foolishly I didn't. There was, I don't know if it still is, so we're going to talk in the past, for drive-through and RPG Now, a policy that if you are a featured reviewer and you were going to review a product on drive-through, because you got a free PDF, that any review you did had to be at least 3 stars. You didn't know that. If it was going to be less than 3 stars, you should contact the publisher and tell them why you feel it's deficient, but you should not publish a review on drive-through. You were, however, allowed to publish it on your own blog or YouTube channel or whatever. Well, I put my review up on drive-through, and that was not a pleasant experience. And I got some angry direct feedback from the publisher. But it was the shittiest product by none. But I could probably look it up. I don't know if it's worth looking up.
Cool. Anyway, the Wizard Tower says they backed it at the 110 level. You're killing me, kid.
You're killing me, sir. God, you're killing me.
I was coming, Elizabeth.
Oh my God.
That makes you feel old, right there.
Oh my God.
I'm coming to join you, honey.
Red Fox.
Oh yeah, what a guy. But you know what? I told you I use tokens because that's what I have, and I made a whole lot of tokens. Plus, I bought the D&D 4th edition ones, and I found out some I can never make enough tokens. Like if I want 10 goblins, I have to make 10 goblins. So I found a workaround. Watch this. First of all, I had the TSR ones that just said monster on it. I used those, but I got these here. These are color tokens. I forget. I think they got this one on Etsy and this one on Amazon. I bought these. I said, "Oh, cool! I could," but they're 1.5 inches instead of the inch. So I went on Amazon and found the inch ones. And what I do is I put one goblin out there and then find like 9 more colors, say red colors, and because you can write on these. You can wet and dry erase on these, so I can go 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever. And I kept the big ones in case, like I could use these with minis for player characters. Say, okay, the goblin is on fire. I put another red or probably a different color, a pink one under him to show he's on fire or something like that. And all I have to do is like a little tape, do it that way. So that's what I use.
Not so shabby.
For minis. Well, you got to, in this hobby, nobody's really rich, so you got to improvise.
Well, not nobody. Nobody in our general circle.
Most gamers are poor.
Yeah.
To middling.
Let's just say they're frugal in their spending.
Yes, I mean, I did not become a cheap bastard until I started role playing.
Because there's so much stuff that you want, and you got to figure out how you're going to acquire everything you want. And Tom, Dave Johnson's official D30 RPG rules are the worst RPG product I have ever seen. But you've read the Star Frontier's New Genesis rules, right? I mean, that's right. Those official D30 rules are actually to release product. I would guess, knowing the author, that it uses D20 tables for the D30 dice. Mm-hmm. I'm just throwing that out there. I just figured that would be more accurate. Mr. Gunn, I'm not even going to repeat that out loud. Can't do it. Sorry. Thronos. Okay. Yes, that was actually Glenn started with the Sanford and Sons reference, and Don just followed along.
Anyway, I do have to tell you that, folks, this next Triple D, I will probably not be here. I will be in Angel Fire, New Mexico.
Ooh.
we're going there for July 4th week. We rented a cabin, and we're going to relax for a week. I'm still taking game and stuff, but we're going to relax.
Okay.
And see the sights. We love New Mexico up there. I just wanted to throw that out and tell everybody.
Right.
That's why I'm not going to be here next time.
So maybe we'll have to, maybe that will be the I don't know, the Rob Conley special or something like that.
Could be.
Rob's the only one that gets the attention that you get as a host.
What?
You know, there's a Rob Conley fan club and there's a Glenn Hellstrom fan club, and you know.
Hi, Mom.
Yeah, you know.
No, my mother's dead. But anyway, yeah, I've always had a one mom fan club.
One mom. That's all you need. That's
okay. Okay. All right. Let's get into what we did at the con. Let's start with you did Wednesday. You did Wednesday. I know that.
I got there Wednesday. Yes.
Yeah. Did you play anything on Wednesday?
No, I did a live stream on Wednesday. So most of my Wednesday was it was getting myself situated at the con. You know, getting myself into the hotel room. We got there, I don't know, around 2:30, and they had a hotel room. We were, you know, bag in. It was great, and got our badges, socialized a bit, had dinner, and then it was set up for the 7 o'clock live stream, because I forget that Central Time, you bastages have it. You're an hour earlier, so it's like
that's right.
Oh, right, it's not 8 o'clock; it's 7 o'clock. Oh my god!
I mean, I think the second episode we did here, it's like, Glenn, where are you? Oh, it's only set. Oh boy, I'm coming. And I got in like 20 minutes into the show. Because you said 8 o'clock, so I had my mind 8 o'clock. Okay.
Yeah, no. Because it takes me a while to get out of New York City Eastern Time and get into Dallas, Texas, Irving, Texas Central Time. So
by the way, I mentioned to our mutual friend Jason that we were going. I don't know, west or east. We hadn't decided at that point. All of a sudden, he wants me to go visit him in Long Island. Well, if you're going east and upper east, you can come visit me. You know, if we went east, that would be a distinct possibility, because Becky says, I want to visit New York City again. I was only there for a few hours.
Hey, come visit New York City. I can give you the sites, but both high and low. It's like, where do you want to go? Come on, you know, listen, Lower Manhattan is a great place to grab holes in the wall with really, really good food that's off the beaten path that you wouldn't expect. And then there's also some holes in the wall in like places like the South Bronx that, if you know where to find them, there's amazingly great ethnic food that you're like, holy crap! And this is where, you know. So we'll
yeah. I mean, I visited San Francisco with my friend Dan. My friend Dan, who was living there. I lived there for 12 years, and I came back, and it's like, yeah, I'll take you to San Francisco. I'll take you over to South Beach. You can get some South Beach. Isn't that the gay section of town? Yeah. And for some reason, I had a brain fart and forgot he was gay. But I said, well, okay. But let me tell you, there was an Italian restaurant there that I died at. That was so good. My God, I never had Italian food so good. I gotta say, San Francisco knows how to do food, and New York too.
Oh yeah.
But
here's the problem with New York, specifically New York. You can pay a lot of money for really good food. You can find places where you pay not too much money for okay food. But if you know the places, and usually it requires asking an active civil servant, whether it's a cop or a fireman, sanitation worker, you ask them, where's the good food at a good price? Because these are the people that when they're working, they want to get the most for their money. And, you know, they want to eat well, and they want to eat cheapish, and they're often the way. So like when I was active and working, I knew a lot of good places depending on where I was going to be assigned to find good food at a decent price. 6-7 years removed from that, so I probably got to make a few phone calls.
Well, this was 5+ years ago. Becky went out there for a conference in New Jersey, and she had like X amount, 4 hours before her plane was ready to fly back. Mm-hmm. And she decided to take the train into New York City to see it. And this was the early days of GPS. So I was here back in Oklahoma, and she was there, and she was on the phone to me. And I was in front of my computer with Google Earth pulled up. Okay, how do I get over to Central Park? Okay, now you're here. Let's go. Okay, fine. I got to go this way and a couple blocks that way, because she wanted to go by Central Park because he found out there was a good deli there, and she wanted to eat at a New York deli. I said, "Oh, okay, here we go.
Got to go to Katz's. You'll pay through the nose, but I'm used to Katz sandwich, especially now that the two you and I are on injectables, so we can't eat like we used to. But a cat sandwich will feed you and your spouse, and you'll probably have food left
all week.
Oh yeah,
feed us all week.
Yeah, cat sandwiches are. I haven't gone to Katz's in, oh my god, probably close to a decade. But
I was upset with her. It's like, you were in New Jersey, you didn't go to Atlantic City. What's wrong with you? There's casinos.
Yeah, it's Atlantic City, dude. I used to go to Atlantic City often enough that the Sands used to send me comped rooms, comped events like Oktoberfest, and I would go there with my son's mother. And you know, we were in our 30s. Everybody else was in their 60s or older, because who else is like, I would just take the time off. You know, they give me free Oktoberfest, you know, food and drink in a hotel room. But Atlantic City was going bad. Atlantic City wasn't good then if you went off the actual strip. Now I suspect it's even worse. So I haven't been there in well over a decade. Yeah. But there are New York City now. New York City has other casinos. We have casinos now in the city. Go figure it out.
That's true. You know, Indian casinos probably. Anyway, I get off the track here. So that was your Wednesday at the con.
Yeah, like I said, my Wednesday was mostly the live stream and social.
Okay. My Wednesday was getting ready for the con and home. Packing and all that good stuff. I had to pick up my friend Carlos. I had to pick up Gage. They stayed overnight in our spare room.
Okay.
And we left like, you know, the ass crack of dawn to drive up.
How long a ride is it?
3 hours.
Oh, that's not too bad.
And this is the first year I didn't have to drive.
Oh.
I got Carlos to drive.
There you go.
And okay. We left at the ass crack of dawn, and I have a system how I get up there, because it's pretty much a straight shot straight down on I-35. And once we pass the WinStar Casino, we're pretty much over. We're in Texas now.
Right.
There's a WinStar Casino. There's an outlet store, and then there's the Red River. I want to say Rio Grande, but I think it's Rio Grande. And we're into Texas, and then there's that big Texas visitor center. I stopped there. It's like, okay, who needs to go? And then I turn on the GPS, because from there into Irving, the Dallas-Fort Worth area is crazy, unless I have some way to do. And now, as of last year, before we get to the hotel, there's always a side trip to Buc-ee's. So Buc-ee's, then the hotel. get your beaver nuts, and let's go.
Beaver Nuts.
Yeah, Beaver Nuts. And we got there. The room wasn't quite ready, so we schmoozed a bit when I got our badges. And that night Thursday night, I got into Grow Dogs, Castle, I want to say Castle Gygax. No, Castle Greyhawk, where his rewrite, where he restocked it and everything.
Right.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Me and Jason, who came in later on a flight, got into that game. We had a ball. It went till midnight. I was like, it was 11:30. I was going,
the chunky nod.
Yeah. But he was kind enough to wrap it up around midnight. But I had a lot of fun. How was your Thursday?
Thursday we did Fuzzy Heroes.
That's right. Gage did that.
Yeah, with Chris Clark, and that was a lot of fun. Chris.
Yeah. My buddy Matt Evans, who was also there, did that game.
Yeah, Chris does. He's the bad puns guy. So if you like dad puns that are cringeworthy, and then riddles that are based upon dad puns that are cringeworthy.
Matt told me all about that.
That would be Chris Clark's games, but Chris is just an awesome person, a lot of fun to hang around and be with. So it was good.
Yeah, that was good. And that was my Thursday. That was your Thursday. Let's see. Friday, my game. I got ready for my game. And my 11 o'clock Gangbusters game.
Okay.
A lot of fun. Had a full table. All 8. It was so full. And I told Gage, I said, look, I got 8 people. Why don't you go play Matt's game that's going on at the same time? He has 1 player that signed up. And Grandpa, I always want to get just this year, go play his game. I mean, he gets to kill you. He'll have fun. You'll have fun. Go play. So he went over, and let me tell you, these guys really saved Pop Tenkar's butt. And the FBI was there. The Prohibition guys were there. The PIs were there. Had a shootout inside Tenkar's Roadhouse.
There you go. It's a great place for a shootout.
Pop Tenkar got kidnapped after they blew up one of his stills in the woods. And there was a merry chase, which ended. They had to save you because Rock Junction is on the Lakefront City Lake. And they went right over the pier, boom, into the lake in the chase.
Nice.
So it's like, I dive in. Okay, you dive in. Did I get I don't know if I got a crowbar. I'll let you have a crowbar. All right. You had to pull the trunk open before the car sank to get you out.
Wow. I'm glad I didn't die. So that would make this a very awkward live stream.
Yeah. And the feds nabbed, I think 1 guy died. That was it. Oh, you're going to love this. In the shootout at the Roadhouse, this was even before they opened for the night. These 2 guys were trying to strong arm you into, getting the gang. The rival gang wanted a piece of your Roadhouse, and you guys didn't want to do it.
Of course.
So, one of the guys was standing in front of the bar, and they were fighting. This one guy, another guy came in. He was the one who got killed. He get right in, and one guy was behind a table. Bang! He's dead. But this one guy who was like orchestrating the whole thing, all of a sudden, from behind the bar comes Raish Tenkar with a baseball bat. Bam! Out
channeling the interracial. I love it.
Yes. And boy, they had a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun.
It's like you've seen her play RPGs. I don't know.
Well, she was the one who first came to the feds and the PIs about you, because they wanted to buy into your Roadhouse, and you wouldn't let them. And they were doing stuff like that, and blowing up one of your stills in the woods so you were the stubborn German, hard-headed type German. You're not going to mess with my place type thing.
Amen.
And I found a really neat way to run this game now that I'm going to do going forward. I'll have to tell you about that later.
Mr. Gunn wants to know where are my minions? He also wanted to know what makes Bucky
had a table full.
What makes Bucky special, Glenn? I've
Beaver Nuts, Beaver Nuggets.
I have only seen videos. I have been told they are the cleanest restrooms you will find that are theoretically public restrooms.
That's right.
I say theoretically,
that's right,
because they're probably cleaner than your own restroom, from what I've seen.
I mean, Bucky's is like makes 7-Eleven look like a lemonade stand. I mean, you go in there, they're making sandwiches, they're making fudge, they're making their own beef jerky and selling it. Gage always likes to go in there and grab a sandwich because he said they're really, really good. But he always gets a kick out of the label because they got so many ingredients. Look at all the ingredients in this thing. But you're eating it, right?
Right.
And they have like gift shops, and the Beaver Nuts, I call them Beaver Nuggets, are to die for a snack.
Saronis, yes. I have heard legendary restrooms, and they don't allow 18-wheelers at Buc-ee's. Again, what I've heard watching videos.
Yeah, brisket sandwich. Bill's right.
You see, amazing food, amazing service.
Hi, Bill.
And they pay well.
Babarch. Yes, they do pay well. I mean, they've hold a couple of Guinness World Records. Not this Bucky, but I think the one in Kentucky, wherever the hell they put it in, is like the largest convenience store in the world, with the most pumps in the world, even though this Bucky had 35. And they also hold the Guinness record for the longest car wash in the world.
Ola beer. Ola beer Bosch.
So let's see. What else that's about all I did. I mean, I went around and schmoozed, and it's so funny. I bought 2 things at the con, which is uncharacteristic for me. But I ended up spending some money on my friend Carlos, who's his first con. And it's like, you like Hyperborea, right? There's Jeff. You want a set of them? I'll buy them for you. Get him to sign it. I was doing that. Like I did that 2 or 3. I did that at New Big Dragon. You want these books? Here. Okay. And it's like, Glenn, what's wrong with you? It's all right. It's like, I've been to this con, 10 years? I've already bought most everything I want.
Yep.
So not a big deal. What did you do Thursday? Friday. We're on Friday.
Actually, Thursday closed out with the whiskey tasting.
That's right. I missed that.
Yeah, you probably, for your health, it was probably best that you miss it. It was German whiskey and pickle beer. So
pickle beer. That'll give you the runs, won't it?
It'll give you something or other. A lot of people were fully or partially down for the count on Friday. Now Friday morning we had the podcaster YouTuber breakfast.
Yeah, it's like I did the next day. I looked in the program. It was yesterday. Damn, I missed it.
At 7:00 in the morning, I'm gonna have to make an executive decision next year to not be part of it if it's at 7 a.m.
Because Lou does a good
tasting
job.
the night before, and the whiskey tasting just starts the night of drinking. Then you have to finish the night of drinking, and then you got to be up at 7 a.m. No, I'm not going to be up at 7 a.m. That just simply isn't happening. So, and what else so that was Friday morning, and I think we were in. Ian McGarthy's MCC funnel for Friday afternoon.
Hey, Bar says don't remind him of the whiskey tasting.
Hey, listen, it was when you think Germany and alcohol, you think what? Schnapps, you think beer. You don't think whiskey. And there's a reason why you don't think whiskey. Because German whiskey sucks shit. And that's putting it That's insulting shit, honestly, if you want to put that in perspective. So it was, yeah. Don, trust us. We couldn't do the whiskey. We shouldn't have done the whiskey in this case. Okay. Not saying can't. We really shouldn't have.
I'm the worst person to pick for something like that because I don't drink all that much. And one alcoholic beverage tastes, I can tell beer from hard liquor. That's about it. So you want me to rate this whiskey?
No,
they all taste the same. They're all, to me.
Well, no, these would have been, believe me, some of the best notes made about the notes of the whiskey were from our favorite lawyer.
Joe the lawyer?
No. Joe was
Bill
there.
Barsh. Or Bill Barsh.
Bill's not a lawyer. No.
I mean,
our Texas lawyer.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant
the beard.
Steve Marsh.
No, the beard. But the beard had like notes like reminds me of the glue that we used to use when we put our models together as a kid, and we would sniff it. But this is how it probably would have tasted. It's like, oh my god. So yeah, he had some really, really good notes on that stuff. I don't like any rye. Little on, and rye beer sucks, by the way. Oh my god.
Oh, and also Friday, don't forget we were doing this show.
Right, we were doing Friday. I did a live.
That was almost a 3-hour show. Wow.
Yeah, I did a live stream Wednesday night, Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night. I was losing my voice.
We had so many guests stop by, from Matt Evans to Bad Mike, of course, to James Raggy. He did really good on that. I mean, it was a fun to. I love it when he said, "This is the first con I've been to where somebody isn't yelling at me." Oh man! But that
we had Courtney Campbell. We had Pocket Jacks Comics. Preston. We had a large number of
even Zeb Cook stopped by for a few minutes. Zeb Cook, Gage stopped by. I was surprised he would even be on camera. He was every time I try to get him for podcasts or something, or even on the regular audio podcast. No, I don't want to do that. But I guess he got over it. But we had a great time.
Yeah.
Great time.
So
that was such an
really, really good. You know what? Maybe next year I gotta talk to Mike about us getting an actual, like, I don't know, a table and artist row just for doing live streams. I guess I would probably have to get a Tenkars banner for behind. Maybe I could ship that to Mike.
Good idea.
Not a bad idea. It's right. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that was Friday. Saturday, I had a Hyperborea game.
Okay.
With Gage, and it was a lot of fun. It was one of the modules. I think it was the Lost Treasure of Atlantis, and we ended up fighting crabmen, a giant crab, which was fun. And he was like the big boss, the big boss of that module. But afterwards, the guy said, that's not the biggest crab. And I said, well, where's the biggest crab? He says, you're standing on it. The island is on its back. Oh, okay. I don't want to do that. Okay. Yeah. We're good, right? I mean, we won, right? Okay, good. We're getting out of here. But I got to play a scout, and that was a lot of fun.
Okay.
I still love Hyperborea. Man, I need to play more of it. What did you do on Saturday? On a Saturday?
Saturday I was Merle Rasmussen, 8:00 in the morning for a top secret game. That was fun. Merle is one of the nicest, most humble individuals you're going to deal with at a convention. And we've been playing in Merle's game since the prior hotel, since early on in our North Texas career. So Rach is always like, we got to play in Merle's game. We got to play in Merle's game. So we always got to sign up for something that Merle's running. So it was a lot of fun. It was just good old Top Secret New World Order. So it's the new version of Top Secret.
Right. Okay. Well, that's good. And let's see, what was that, Saturday? And of course, they had the midnight auction.
Oh God, I was what do you call them? One of those jackasses that was Pinkerton. I was at Pinkerton for the auction. It was a lot of fun. It was crazy as they always go. Also, actually, on Saturday afternoon there was a small publishers seminar, which was really, really good.
I heard it was.
It was a lot of fun. Some good questions and answers. And I'm gonna repeat one of the answers that I gave when somebody asked, like, well, how do you market yourself? Well, if you're a small publisher, you market yourself by going on live streams or reaching out to bloggers and participating on in groups without chilling yourself.
Doing YouTube videos.
Yeah, but come on. Listen, when we do, people that do live streams often are looking for guests. Okay,
that's right.
And it costs nothing to get on to a live stream except for your time. So yes, you might have to cut a certain, hour and a half time slot out of your evening on a certain day.
And I'm sure you'd have either a smartphone or the equipment at your desk that you could do that, a microphone and all that.
Yeah.
So nothing else, use the mic on the computer.
Yeah, but just think that is the easiest
and a camera,
most cost-effective way to get word of your project out there. So
That's
just throwing that out.
Oh, and I actually did my purchasing Saturday. I got 2 books. I got one, Pulp Fantastic. I didn't really get it for the system, more like it's got a lot of nice reference stuff, like timelines of the 30s and all that kind of stuff. And then when I got home, I got PO'd when I found out that they had a Savage Worlds version of it. And also, Tome of Adventure Design revised. And the other day, I just kicked myself. You were there 4 days and you didn't get Matt Finch to sign it. What's wrong with you?
Matt was always going.
He was in and out.
Yeah, he was always in motion. I would see him or Susie, and they were always going from one place to the other. They were like nonstop energy, and that's good. But like Frog God this year did not have a booth, and often a Frog God booth is the default, like ground zero for a lot of creators to just take a seat and sit down and hang out. Without having that, you didn't have that opportunity. So,
okay.
Tome
of Adventure Design revised by Matt Finch. I missed the Kickstarter, so I was determined to get it at the convention.
Miss Mirror Games.
It's that thick. In fact, and it runs you about 60. 312 pages. Runs you about $60. They had at the Black Blade booth.
Yeah,
it's like I wanted to buy some stuff, but what I didn't have, nobody had what I wanted. Even David Donahoe. Well, it's like I wanted to get a copy of Mutant Crawl Classics. I said to Grow Dog, I says, "You got all this Mutant and Dungeon Crawl Classic stuff. Where's MCC?" Well, we didn't bring it. We couldn't get any. And it's like I was looking around for Castles and Crusades, the current version, and nobody had that either. It was weird. Oh, well, next year. Always next year. Oh, and Sunday. Oh, my God. I got to dig up a commercial. I actually got I found out I may have a little clout around there because I've been to the convention so long. Gage likes to buy a new set of metal dice every year to commemorate the con. And I usually give him the money. He goes, and he says, "Well, did you get it? Like Saturday night, did you get it?" No. They're usually 25. He raised the price to 30. I said, "Oh my God, I gave you the money. Go.
Right.
No. Like Gage could get cheaper than me sometimes. Because I think he was worried because I was giving him the money. It was, and I said, it's okay. Just go get it. And so the next day I went to the booth and I said, Ben, my grandson wants to buy a set of metal dice from you. And you're charging $30. Can you do 25? Oh, sure, for you. And I was like, okay. And then I paid him the 25. And like an hour later, I went an hour later, I grabbed Gage. He was around. I says, come here, pick one out. It's already paid for. Grandpa, no, pick one out. And he did. He's happy. Why stop it? Why stop a tradition for the kid?
Right? No, dude.
He loves metal dice.
He doesn't
know. He loves metal dice.
Know that his grandpa made the deal.
I don't love metal dice. I mean, they're nice, but I don't like digging tables. And it's it's going to get put heavy enough when he gets old enough. He's going to. My dice.
It clunked. I enjoyed my first set. And then my second set, I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. And then after that, I was like, I'm never taking them to another convention. It's just weight I don't need.
Really? So what did you do Sunday? Get ready to go or get ready for your flight? Or?
Oh, we didn't leave until Monday. We had a Monday morning flight.
Oh, that's right. You usually do the Monday thing. That's
right. I said it today. So we just hung around. I got to meet two people that the whole con I was looking to meet and I hadn't gotten a chance to. Just didn't even see. I got to hang out a bit with Kelsey and her wife. Amazingly awesome people. I was so happy to actually spend time with Kelsey face to face and just talk about bullshit.
Good. I'm glad.
Aaron Coleman, who is a huge member of the DCC community. Aaron has stage 4 cancer and a young son. So it was a fundraising for him that the tavern was very big in supporting and doing a match of funds raised for. So after I spent time hanging out with Kelsey, I see this gentleman, gamer, at the entrance to the vending hall across from the con desk, and just looking like in awe. Like you know that look of somebody, it's like their first convention and they're just sucking it all in. And I didn't know who it was because I've never met Aaron in person before. And I just, say, hey, your first con? He was like, my first time at North Texas. And oh my God, I overheard you saying that this is like coming home to family. And this is so much like family. And we talked for a good 5 minutes before he actually looked down. And he's a tall guy. And he saw my name tag. And he goes, you're Tenkar? I'm like, yeah. He goes, and he got emotional. He goes, I'm Aaron. And then we both got emotional. And then one of the volunteers had to come over with a box of tissues for us, because that's the kind of emotion that was going on. But I mean, that literally is what North Texas is about, making those connections. And
it is.
Anything or any place I'd rather be than the North. If I could only do one con a year, it would be North Texas.
And I do one con a year.
Yeah.
And this con had an uptick of people there for the first time. A big uptick. What did he say the numbers were at the end?
517, I think.
Yeah. And like at least a third of those were people who came for the first time. My friend Carlos, he's my GM in the Monday game. He came for the first time. So he announced that like a month before. It surprised the hell out of me. I didn't expect anybody from my group to come. But he said, yeah, I'm coming back. Matt Evans was there with his family. See, with his wife and his 2 boys. The trouble with him is if he brings the whole family, they got to go do family stuff too. So they went to like medieval times. They did an escape room, and he said, next year I'm coming by myself so I can just spend time at the con without having to do the family. I like the family stuff, but this con, I forgot how good it was. He went there. He came like 5-10 years ago. And, and so he finally came back. You know who brought him back? Raggy. He found out Jim Raggy was going to be a special guest. He says, I'm going. I want to talk to that man. and he did.
Oh God, yeah. I mean, that's Courtney Campbell, Raggy, Kelsey, all their first time. Joe the lawyer. Joe was supposed to be my first date like a decade ago. We were supposed to go together. He was going to be my roomie, and he had to bow out for financial reasons, car problems.
Mm-hmm.
And Rach wound up going with me instead. And oh my
you
God,
hooked her. You hooked her.
And that she was by Friday. She's like, "We're coming back next year." I'm like, "You sure?" She's like, "Oh, this place is amazing." Because it's the people.
Yeah.
People to find a convention, and you're not going to find finer people at a convention than North Texas. Across the political spectrum, across every spectrum, it is the most welcoming, grounded convention you're going to find. My personal opinion. Right. You could disagree with me, but I challenge you to have issues with North Texas if you show.
And this is a great con to network and make deals at.
Oh,
Mark
God.
Hunt found that a couple of years ago. He got some good deals out of this when he came the first time. He had to bow out too this year. He was going to come, but he had to bow out. We always have great special guests. They're a lot of fun, and they're half the reason the con's good. The other half is the staff. Starting from Mike and Gary on down.
Oh yeah, they're just awesome, and they are. I've yet to see anyone get so frustrated that they can't handle the issue. There's always an answer to whatever the issue is, and this year, aside from a few rooms that maybe people were complaining were too cold, the issues were pretty minor. So,
last year I bought something on the wrong credit card. And I get a nasty text from Becky. You told me you weren't going to do it. I said, sorry. I use it. Not only that, to add insult to injury, it was for something from Bad Mike, and it got double charged.
Oh, geez.
And I told Mike, and by the end of the con, he fixed it.
Oh, nice.
It was like he got it credited back to us. And I said, thank you. So yeah, they know how to fix things. They know how to fix things, if you know what I mean. They fix you. Well, they fixed my dog. No, they didn't fix my dog. No, I didn't fix my dog. Fixed. But yeah, this is turning into another PSA for North Texas RPG Con.
That's allowed, man. Again, it's my home away from home.
Me too.
I really love it. And here, I will reiterate this. Neither Glenn nor I get compensated by North Texas RPG Con to say good shit about it.
Yet.
Well, I would never even take.
Well, I'm still waiting for the special guest train to come around.
Whatever.
And every time they talk about it, I'm always shoving other people in there. I said, no, get Mark Hunt. He should be special guest.
Mark Hunt.
There's a lot of. First time I met him, I said, I'm glad your name isn't Mike.
I'm gonna Folks, we're here twice a month.
Yeah, thank you very much. But that's NTRPG in a nutshell right there.
Yeah, it was a great time. As I have to refocus my camera.
I didn't do any GMing other than that one game. Again, every year I say, I'm going to do more GMing. But years before I got lazy, and this year I just looked at my schedule and it's like, I managed to pick games that's going to screw up every single day. I'm there.
Yeah.
I got to end at 1:00 so I can make this game. I got to end at 10:00 so I can make that game. I don't want that kind of pressure. That's like every year. That's why every year I don't do the April 15th, get your games while you can now.
Right.
I may get one that's left over. The Grow Dog game I got talked into by Jason. Jason is such a fanboy of this convention. Every week, Bad Mike, get your butt on here. We're talking about your con.
Yeah, Mike, you just missed like free advertising for like the last half.
Yeah, we just did what we did at your con.
That's okay. Mike didn't do anything. Mike was too busy conning.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for the payola on this anyway. So, Mike, I haven't got the check yet.
We don't do none of that. He is.
That's right. No, yeah, payola only, no money. There we go. Hey, you're welcome, Mike. I hope you enjoyed them. I may have a couple more coming up because I replaced a.
So Mike,
yeah, right.
Yeah, so Mike, it's a bit of an inside joke since we brought up the pundit video about don't accept paid reviews, take the pledge not to do paid reviews, and I did a follow-up video because I agree with him. Paid reviews are bad for the industry; they're bad for the community. So we've been joking about it since then, but
yes. I was looking at Bloodworth on YouTube, and he was going on about something about gatekeeping and them trying to co-opt the OSR basically.
Well, that would be listen right now, and folks, love me or hate me. If I say stuff that upsets you because maybe you have a political stance on something, I don't apologize. All right. I call balls and strikes regardless of who's at bat, what team is batting. I call it as I see it. So when the OSR Discourse, which I'm going to call the woke OSR, the rainbow OSR, because that's how they identify themselves, started bad-mouthing me and removing people who, by the way, and I should have pointed this out, did the exact same thing that they complained about New TSR and the Dungeon Hobby Shop Museum doing on their Facebook pages. When people ask questions like, well, how much is what's that? Oh, you asked a question, you're gone. People ask a question about why you need a server-wide ping over what was essentially a social issue and a political stance. Anybody who questioned it got banned. So that got followed up by a group on the right in Facebook, and I say on the right, and it's not outwardly a right political group, but banned anybody who had a rainbow flag or some such in their avatar. The lines are being drawn, and I will call out the lines as they are being drawn, because I think the vast majority of gamers, the vast majority, are somewhere in that middle, that gray middle ground where we don't want your left wing, we don't want your right wing, we don't want any of your wings. We just want to play games.
Yeah.
Even if
I'm a breast and leg man myself.
Yeah. But even if we have leanings, you know what? I don't want it in my gaming. And when people put it into gaming, I will call it out. And what I always find interesting is that when it comes to the extremes, they have zero tolerance of anything, but they always claim to be welcoming. But they only welcome like-minded individuals. So you're not welcoming. But
as far as co-opting, as far as like people trying to co-opt the OSR, I don't think it's possible. The reason being is the OSR has been around even before it was called the OSR. It's always been around. It's called old guys who want to run old games, or even young guys who want to run old games. So they just put a name on it, That's all.
It'll
always be around. It will always be around.
Yes.
You play the games you like.
By the way, there is a video. I am not going to link it, but maybe I will. Do I have it up here? Oh, yeah. It's the death of the OSR movement from Blueberry Wolf Bridge. Which
I think that's what he was talking about.
Yeah. So this video, which went up yesterday, live stream, an individual that has 158. I want to be accurate, by the way. I don't want to. 165 subscribers. 165. Hold on a second. I as I'm saying this, Mike's like, "Send me in, coach. I'm ready to play today."
By the way, okay, if you let him in, and I just want to say one more thing about the con.
Yes.
I forgot to mention Sunday, I was not feeling very good. It was catching up to me, being diabetic and all that kind of stuff. And I was dizzy. And that's another reason why Carlos drove, because I did not want him to pay. But I was sitting there waiting for, like, Gage was doing something because they were getting ready. We were getting ready to go. And I forgot a couple people walked up. Aaron the Pedantic walked up and said hi. We spoke for about 5 minutes or so. And I just want to say, Eric, thank you. I appreciate that. I'm sorry I didn't get up. I mean, your girlfriend was there. I was going to, be a gentleman, but I just couldn't stand very much. But thank you very much for coming up and talking with me. He said he was only there for that day just to check it out. But anyway, I just want to say hi and acknowledge he was there. Anyway, now co-opting the OSR.
Now, Tammy, I'm going to give you and Tom a lot of props. Rach and I tried listening to it in the car ride back from Long Island, and I got stuck on his filler words. He has a certain no, it wasn't okay, but he had a certain words that he kept on using to hide whatever brain farts or stutters he was having. And after hearing like 7 in the course of maybe it was of like, but hearing of like 7 in of like 10 seconds, I was ready to throw my phone at the window, which was not going to be a good option. So I decided to stop listening to the jackass, who compares his opinions to those of a doctor. And here's where it got me right in the heart. The doctor has you in their office, and they're going over a report, and they say it. Hey, you've got abnormality, a lump in your lungs. You just don't go, oh no, I'm going to ignore that. Okay, you're right. It's a doctor. He's a professional. Somebody with advanced education. You are a voice on fucking YouTube with 165 subscribers who is going to call out Tenkar and go, he's the leading voice of the OSR. He has less than 3,000 subs. I'm not the leading voice of the OSR. So what? I'm not the leading voice. I might be the most honest.
Look at how little subs I have.
So
I feel like I missed so much just missing an hour of you guys' show, and I feel like I'm coming way in the middle of a conversation here, and I did not watch your video. I just wanted to say one thing that I think is very pertinent to this paid review thing is that if you look at what's happened to the video game industry over the last decade, the whole Gamergate fiasco was all brought upon by the fact that it is a well-known fact that video game reviewers are bought and paid for, and they do not give honest reviews. They basically give everything 4.5, 5.0. They never give bad reviews because once they start giving bad reviews, they stop receiving free material to review. It's the catch-22 of video gaming. And this is what led to Gamersgate, because a game developer who did a very dumb, very bad game called Mental Health something, I can't remember what it was. It was awful game. Got glowing 5-star reviews all around the table from every video reviewer.
Right.
It was called something Quest, like Mental Health Quest or something. It was really terrible. And then her ex-boyfriend / husband came out later and said that, well, she was sleeping with a couple of the viewers. That's why she gave him good reviews. And she said, well, I was, but that's not why they gave me good reviews. And everybody, basically kind of it's a really terrible game. It shouldn't have got 5-star reviews. This is what started Gamersgate, and it became a big fiasco and a mess. But on top of all this, it's just well known that in the video game industry, you do not get honest reviews for games. You just don't. Right. So the reviews that are honest in the video game world are from streamers or people like you or me that get on and say, hey, StarCraft is a great game, or it's a terrible game, or this game is terrible. That's the only place you get good reviews. You do not get good reviews from any video game journalist. None, zero, nada. They cannot be trusted, none of them. So if you basically want to see that happen to the game industry, then start paying reviewers for game reviews. You're going to have the same dynamic, and they're going to give everything that WotC comes out with a 4.9 because WotC's going to, it already happens to a certain extent. You have streamers out there that are bought and paid for, and they, oh my God, the latest WotC release, Spelljammer is the greatest thing that ever came out, 4.98. I'm not giving it a 5.0 because when I picked it up, I dropped it and hit my foot, and it was really heavy. It was so heavy because it had so much stuff in there. But other than that, I give it a 5.0. And then that's when you get the dishonest stream reviews.
Depression Quest.
Depression Quest, that was it. And people already don't trust most streamers anyway to give them anything honest because they know they're bought and paid for. But if you want to start blurring lines and making things really bad, then go ahead and start paying for it because it's going to be the same mess unless somebody's brave enough to go out there and say, hey, don't trust any reviewers by review A or reviews by reviewer A because he's bought and paid for, blah blah. So that's why I guess Eric is never going to accept. That's why Eric and Old Man Grognard do not accept cash remunerations. I suspect. I hope you don't. If you do, I'm sorry.
We don't. You're part of this. And listen,
hey, hooker. Hey, it's all hookers and blow, man.
Well,
I know. Well, with Glenn, it is. I know. Glenn definitely. I've known that for years. So yeah.
Becky's in the other room.
There isn't a lot that I agree with the RPG pundit to the point that I will do a video to respond to it and say, yes, excellent, good point. Because a lot of times the RPG pundit, he's annoying, and he's always pimping his own shit. It's like you see hands, occasionally a pipe, and you see the last 4 books that he published on screen all the time. But I trust his reviews when he reviews something because they are generally intellectual and they go in depth. I don't do great reviews. That's why I don't do many. I will highlight products that I like, but again, I'm not getting paid for the shit. I happen to like it, so I will highlight it. Or I find it interesting and I will highlight it. Buy it or not, that's on you. I'm not the one telling you to. I'm just the one showing you what's out there. We've been talking with Bill Barsh for the last year and a half about sponsoring Wednesday nights, and the sponsorship money would go to North Texas RPG Con, not even to Mike and I.
Screw that then. Forget it then. Oh my God, we're not getting any money out of this.
It keeps, in my opinion, it keeps us honest.
The gift, the gift that keeps on giving.
I forgot.
Oh, by the way.
Now, go ahead, Glenn.
No. This has nothing to do with it. Finish your
I was just going to say that so there's the one, probably one of the biggest reviewers online for OSR game stuff is 10-Foot Pole. And I'll tell you right now, I have a lot of problems with his reviews because he is just as disingenuous in his reviews, but he does review everything, and he does not actually, he only buys stuff that he buys himself. He does not take stuff to be reviewed. You can't say, hey, I'm sending you this adventure. Could you review it? He has to basically purchase it himself, and then he'll review it. And he rips a lot of stuff. He rips it hard. He will say this is a piece of garbage. But so, and he's definitely not beholden to the man, so to speak. Now, I do have a problem because he negatively reviews everything Jeff Delaney puts out because he personally doesn't like Jeff Delaney. And by the way, he's said that before, so you can't really trust a review.
Which is why I don't listen. That's why I don't read his reviews.
But that's, at least he's not taking payola plug because, like I said, he rips a lot of people. He does. He rips people.
It's an honest rip, though.
Right. It's usually an honest rip, unless it's Jeff Delaney and stuff, and it's dishonest because he's not telling you why he's giving it a bad review.
Yeah.
But yeah. So that's the kind. And what you said about Pundit, the only problem I have with Pundit is he incessantly promotes his own material. My God, that's the last 20 minutes of every show you can just turn off because it's going to be. Here's the last 2-3 things I put out, and here's why they're so great. And I'll tell you something. And another thing he does that annoys me is I know this is weird, but why does he appear on screen? I really don't like people that don't appear on screen, because at this point, and I mean, Joe the Lawyer accepted, because Joe the Lawyer is Joe the Lawyer.
Well, even Grim Jim appears once in a while.
Well, yeah. I mean, I can understand what
he does.
Joe doesn't do it. There's a reason Joe doesn't do it. Pundit, there's really no reason. I don't understand why he doesn't appear. I mean, are his enemies going to see what he looks like and travel to Costa Rica, not Costa Rica, Uruguay, and try to, assassinate him? He's pretty safe in Uruguay. I think I don't think he's going to be getting.
Oh yeah, never know about those countries though. By the way, while you're here, Mike, I'm glad I got you here. Next episode I do on a Friday, I am not going to be here. Would you like to take my place?
If Eric says it's okay, yeah, sure. Maybe we can.
Because I'm going to be. I'm going to
deny my work husband. Come on.
I mean, you put him on the spot here, like he's going to say no to my face.
I know. It's just I'm going to be in New Mexico, and
that sounds fun, actually.
Well,
can I join you in New Mexico, and then Eric can do the show by himself? Then I'll go with you.
Actually, Mike,
he'd do it too.
Maybe we invite.
We'll have some green chili cheeseburgers.
Maybe we make that.
That's what I was thinking. Night. Exactly. Let's do the Rob Conley show.
You do the Rob Conley night. Auction off the Rob Conley bag. Hold on, I got to get.
Oh, you have the fake Gucci bag with the. What is that? Receipts
of the Russet Lord. Rob is the Russet Lord, and behind him there's a throne of Game of Thrones chair, but instead of swords, it has potato peelers. Oh, that's just awesome.
I was waiting for the what was it? The Louis Vuitton bag with Conley on it.
I haven't seen. Wait, where's that at? I gotta find that. I don't know where that's at.
Yeah, we had a whole 20-minute conversation about.
Okay.
Many episodes ago, and they were using an example about people promoting stuff. If I had a fake, fake versus real. If I had a fake Louis Vuitton bag, but it said Conley on it, it's like, yeah, we should do that and sell them at North Texas. That would be great for dice bags.
If we have Rob on, we got to arrange so we can get 2 words in sideways, Eric.
Yeah, but it's got to be a fake. It's got to be a fake Louis Vuitton bag.
We got to stay away from LARPs. We have like 5 subjects we can't cover.
LARPs, GURPS.
GURPS, Harn, no Harn.
Oh yeah, no Harn, no Harn.
I'll let you guys hash it out. I just wanted to ask. Oh,
we should make him do a movie review because I don't know. Glenn and I do movie reviews. We should make Rob Conley do a movie review. That would be fun.
By the way, I gave you all those movies. Look what a week later this arrived.
Ooh, original.
That's the Steel book.
Oh, nice. That's the new one. Okay, good.
Yeah, 4K.
Nice.
Blu-ray and 4K. Look at this.
I really hate to say this, but I saw that twice in the theater and I'd watch it again.
I did too. I would
watch that movie again. I didn't mind it at all.
It took them long enough, but Dungeons and Dragons finally got a great representation in the movies.
That movie grew on me. It really grew on me. And I know some people don't like it, but I'm sorry. I've seen it twice now.
And I enjoyed it both times. You want to hear something? They always said it didn't do well at the box office and stuff. It was the #1 streaming movie last week.
Yeah, I think it'll make it funny. It's going to make it funny back as time goes on. Yeah. The problem was it basically broke even, and that was because it costs $70 million to make, which is or $150 million.
Well,
it costs $150 million to make, which was expensive. That's pretty expensive for a movie like that. I think
the downside of that is if you want a sequel, because it did so well, it'll go directly to streaming.
Well, that or they'll knock $50 million off, or maybe even more than that. They'll say, "Yeah, we're not going to do the big giant set scenes like we did here. We're gonna have a few more little indoor scenes, and we're not gonna
less practical special effects, more computer." Yeah,
because I just think they spent a lot of money on that movie. They really thought they were going to hit something really big. I mean, it was good, and it wasn't nothing disagreeable about it.
They did. I think they tapped into some. I think it was a good reaction. I mean, all the critics loved it.
Yeah, the critics enjoyed it. I mean, it got very good Rotten Tomatoes, both the critics and fans. So
yeah, oh yeah, and so there's some pluses there. They're saying, "Oh, the Super Mario movie blew it out." All right, fine.
Well, but
I see it here. It says it made $208 million, which if it costs $150 million to make, that's not close to what it need to make to actually even break even. So
I compared it to the 2000 D&D movie. I started thinking about that. And what I like about this movie is the fact that it takes everything for granted. It takes, they don't expect you to know anything. But in the 2000 movie, it's like, look, here's a beholder. Look, here's a spell we use in the game. Look, here's da 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 da. And that just like, they were underlining everything. In this movie, it's like, you saw in this movie, like you saw a kid herding axe beaks. You saw a couple of rust monsters fighting over a piece of plate mail. And that's just, and Dragonborn and Aarakocra they just appear. They just like, boom.
Well, that's because
it's part of the world.
First movie they had to draw your attention. Everything. If you remember, you probably don't remember, but there was actually an interview with the director, and he said oh my gosh, the last 5 minutes we have over 100 dragons on screen at the same time. I mean, that you are not going to believe this scene. He went on and on and on to talk about how amazing it's going to be. They had like 100 dragons on, and then of course that it's just garbage. It's just flashing lights and this and that. It's a little CGI drawn dragons. I mean, it's just terrible. It doesn't look bad at all.
And they went hard into
one dragon that you could see a dragon, then little flashing lights that were zipping around that were supposed to be dragons. So it never had a good base to what it was going to do there.
Well, yeah, they probably had a lot of reshoots, but it's the end product, really.
Right. And so I really like I said, I would watch that movie again. That might be the kind of movie one of those movies when you're passing through the room and it's on, you sit down and start watching, kind of like I do with Aliens or Terminator or something like that. Like, we're at this part. Okay, I'll watch. I'll sit here 15 minutes.
Okay, the Bard too silly. I'll take that. I like the Bard. I mean, Chris Pratt surprised me because
I don't think he was silly as much as he wasn't serious. I think there's a difference.
Because I could tell he was sincere in what he believed and what he wanted to do and his daughter and all that. But he wasn't he wasn't like a Marvel movie smartass.
No, he had pathos to it because his wife died and we saw the scene and it was awful. And there was pathos to it, definitely.
Yeah.
And but I think that made him not totally silly.
Sign of a good actor. He takes it seriously and doesn't. Comedy's comedy. I'm not going to. Right. What makes one guy laugh is probably won't make another guy laugh. I'm not. I do comedy. I like comedy, and I can't figure it out. I just do what makes me laugh. And
right. You have to go in there with the right. So, and I argue with Greg Gillespie about this because I think he went into the movie with the wrong attitude because he wanted a very serious World of Greyhawk style, grim dark type movie, and they're not going to make that for their first D&D movie.
Look at what Professor Dungeon Master did to the movie. I try to take his points seriously, but at the same time they were awful. That's one thing about gamers. They can get real nitpicky. And he just it's like he nitpicked. I felt like he nitpicked the movie to death.
I thought Greg did too. I saw Greg's review and I thought nitpick. I mean, I understand where you're coming from, but it all went from the premise that, this wasn't like a very serious, so it all came from the premise. This wasn't a serious D&D movie. Okay, right. It's not. So every point you make from here on out, it's going to pick on that because it wasn't a serious D&D movie. No, it wasn't. And it was never going to be because I guarantee you a serious D&D movie wouldn't have made 200 million. It would have made 120 million. I mean, it would have tanked because nobody's going to want to see grim dark D&D movie, so.
Right. And
I mean, look at most franchises. I mean, you don't really see, even like Star Trek or Star Wars, they're not grimdark. I mean, they have, I guess sort of serious subject matters at certain points, but at their heart, they're pulp movies. They're pulp, where things
that's what I feel. I feel that's what I feel about this one. Bill, okay. I don't think it. Okay, it's not a great D&D movie, but it's a good start. Yeah. You know, they could build on this. That's what I'm saying.
I guess I looked at it as how bad could it have been versus how good could have been. I think it hit the bar about how good it could have been.
Yeah.
And it could have been a lot worse. We've seen the bottom. Yeah. We've seen the bottom. Yeah. The bottom was the first D&D movie.
We could only go up from there.
Yeah, it could only go up from there. And I think it did better than just go up. I think it was really, like I said, it was.
Yeah, I guess you're right, Alex. But I liked all the other stuff they worked into.
Glenn's very easy to make happy. Just throw Owlbear in there and you're done.
Okay, fine. I mean, I didn't even mind the 5e stuff they put in there, like having a tiefling or something like that, because hey, it worked. You know,
right?
It's a druid, and anything they say is not D&D canon. I just say, yeah, it's a house rule. They're using a house rule.
I don't know, and Bill said, I guess we'll have to talk about this. It's missing a sense of adventure. I thought it had a huge sense of adventure. The whole scene of going down with the paladin to the Underdark to across the hanging thing was really cool. The trap bridge, and then fighting the creatures, and then fighting the assassin. I thought that was kick ass, and fighting the big fat dragon. I mean, that was a D&D adventure right there. That was a mini D&D adventure right there. You know,
Matt finally saw it. Matt finally saw it on his TV, and he agreed with me. That's the best depiction of an illusion I've ever seen.
Which one?
The one where Chris Pratt coming towards those guards playing the thing, and all of a sudden
he starts screwing it up. He's not paying attention.
It's got screwing it up. Yeah. And it's like, that's the best illusion I've ever seen.
That's when somebody makes their saving throw and it doesn't work.
Yeah, they missed. They roll for disbelief or something.
So Wizard Tower says, what do you think it done to make the movie better? I'm going to be really honest with you. This is going to sound really dumb. I don't know. There's a lot they could have done to make it better. I'll be honest with you. I thought from what they had to do, because they have to do a certain thing. What they have to do is there's a certain kind of movie that's come out since 2008, the MCU type movie, where they have equal flash, and there's drama, and then there's character development, and there's a little humor. And so they have this formula. MCU's had this formula, and it worked great until about Endgame, and now people are getting tired of the formula. It tried to follow that formula, which I thought was a good idea, because I don't think a grimdark or a serious version of that would have worked at all. I think it would have been a miserable failure, just horrible failure. But as what they could do better, I would look at building on what they had. And I don't think they could get. I don't think they're able to get Chris Pine and Michelle Rodriguez back is the problem. So I don't know if they can actually build on that.
Yeah. Well, what you do,
I think that
what you do is bring back who you can, and then link them up with a few new characters, because that's just like a DM sitting down. Okay, he couldn't be here this week, but we got this new guy who wants to play a character in the game. I mean, have you ever read? I mean, I know you sold them, Mike, on your store, but you ever read the DC AD&D comics?
Oh yeah, I've read all those. I have all of them. I've read all of them.
I've got the trade paperbacks, and I read those and I go, this is playing just like a game, because you got like an adventure with these characters, and then the next adventure is like one or two of the same characters, but there's news people. And it feels like a D&D game. It really feels like a D&D game. And that's what this movie.
And like I said, they wanted to include a bunch of different things. I know they wanted to throw in a bunch of different things there. They wanted to definitely have recognizable things that people play D&D, like the Red Wizards.
I'm glad
and owlbears and things like that. But they also
Neverwinter.
They weren't slavish there. They didn't every single thing, like you said, Glenn, wasn't like, oh, we have to bring attention to this. Oh, look at Axe Beak. They didn't do that, this spell does this.
That was like background stuff, but they brought up the thing. They brought the things in that mattered to the story.
So Wizard Game says, do you not think a Game of Thrones style SFX? No, I don't think it would at all. I think it'd be a terrible D&D movie. I think that's something you do once you have an established franchise and everybody thinks, oh yeah, this is cool. And you're about your third or fourth D&D movie. And then you have, by the way, now we're going to do a serious take on this for you guys. What's serious, but I just don't think it would work because, and I said this before the movie even came out.
Answer your question.
Okay. D&D is a silly game. Whether I saw that all the time when I was at North Texas, I saw James Raggi run a game where skeletons had sex with each other, which is ludicrous.
That is typical Raggi right there.
Right. But I mean, that's the kind of things that happened in that movie. That's why everybody saw it liked it. That's what happens in a game. Most games are not dire, dread, grimdark, serious. Funny things happen. Funny things are said. The DM does something ridiculous. I mean, it's just that is D&D. The essence of D&D is silly. And for those who, oh no, man, we run the most grim, darkest dark game, whatever. I guarantee that game is probably not any fun because you've got to have a little humor in with your D&D. And I know my group does it. They're always cracking jokes, and we have funny things happen. I mean, my brother has a character in the Roll Deep campaign who has a charisma of like 6, so he plays him as an a-hole, and it's hilarious because he hates everybody hates him, and so he has to throw in all these comments he makes about people. So his deal is basically everybody in the party who's too serious about themselves, he has to cut them down. So he's always has these comments about, oh yeah, well this, that, that. So it's part of the game. It's just part of the game. I mean, the monsters are silly. Okay, Displacer Beast is a silly monster. A gelatinous cube is a silly monster. I'm sorry, it is.
I love it.
An owlbear is a silly monster. An owl and a bear. I mean, these are all at their base. They are not serious concepts. So to make a completely serious D&D movie, I just don't think it would work. And another thing is, I think people are tired of Game of Thrones type serious because everything. Oh, and we're going to make this very Games of Thrones. I think people tune out at that point because. And
I'm glad they kept.
Great. It was Games of Thrones. It was great.
And I'm glad they kept the background in the background as far as locations go, because I heard they're going to use Forgotten Realms and Neverwinter and the Sword Coast and everybody and all these guys. People are kind of tired of the Forgotten Realms. They're all, oh my God. But it was a background. It was familiar to the people who knew the realms or anything, but it wasn't. Yeah. This is Neverwinter.
So I said,
this is the Sword Coast.
Theatis said Conan Barbarian was a fantastic OD&D movie. Okay, Conan's not a silly character. If you read Robert E. Howard, he's pretty grim. I mean, he is. Not really funny things that happen in the book, but there's amusing things occasionally. But no, his books are pretty much devoid of humor. His stories, they are. Mm-hmm. I mean, read Beyond the Black River. There is not a lot of humor in that story at all. That is a desperate,
the Marvel Conan comics are like that.
Yeah. That's not he's just not a silly character. Inherently, the stuff he fights is dark and grim and dirty. And I mean, look, there's one whole story about how his girlfriend gets killed by a demon. Beyond the Black River, everybody dies but him. I mean, the main character of the story and his dog, for all you dog lovers, die. Spoiler attack. I mean, they die, and Conan's left alive at the end to say he's going to kill another, 200 picks to make up for his friends that die. I mean, they're not, the happiest ending in a Conan is when he has a chick and he's probably going to get laid that night because he rescued a girl from the monsters, but he usually doesn't have any gold. He's lost all his gold, and he let the chest drop in the water so he can grab the hot chick. And then he's sitting there going towards the kingdom, going, well, there's a dream that says I'm going to be a king someday, so I guess I'll just keep on riding and I'll just
come here, baby.
Yeah, exactly.
Hail to the king, baby.
That's about it. That's about his
Bruce Campbell as Bruce Campbell as Conan the Barbarian.
Oh, we were spared that. That would have been hilarious, though. Now that would have been a funny Conan. I tell you the best Conan movie, the best D&D movie of all time / Conan movie was Conan the Destroyer. That and it was written by two comic book writers. I think Roy Thomas and Gene. Oh, who the guy who used to do?
Gene. Oh, why? I don't know, man.
Colon?
No, that was the artist. I can't remember the guy that killed Gwen Stacy way back in the day. Anyway, they wrote that, so it was written really well. I think Conan the Destroyer is a better movie than Conan the Barbarian because I think that the director whose name escapes me that was too subservient to the comics. He tried to borrow from like 3 different Conan stories. He made it really, really overly grim, and I mean, it was grim anyway. I mean, it was good, but he threw in an origin of Conan that didn't belong in there, didn't need to be there because that wasn't Conan's origin. I think Conan the Destroyer is a great movie. A bunch of Conan and a whole bunch of wacky characters all get to get, including a 7-foot-tall basketball player and a funny thief and a princess. I mean, they all get together to go on a quest. It's a great movie. I like Conan the Destroyer a lot. So
and the thief,
to me,
and Mako came back as a wizard. So
yeah, then Mako is there. I mean, how could you not like a movie with Mako as a wizard? Come on, man. I mean, it was great. So I really liked the Conan the Destroyer quite a bit.
Did you recognize? If I remember, you recognize the thief in that picture? That's Minion Bob from Batman.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he's been a B movie character actor forever too. He's great. He's awesome.
You're my number one
Minion Bob.
I'll be honest with you. When I saw Conan Barbarian Theater, I didn't like it the first few times I saw it, but I love Conan the Destroyer. I thought that was I think that was from the Rumors, and that was borrowed from a Cole story, I believe. So they were borrowing some stuff in there. I did like the 13th Warrior too. I thought I was going to like that more than I liked it. I liked it, but I kept thinking I was really going to like it. I just liked it okay. I thought it was good. But it's a tough audience. I mean, and think about it. This is a group of fans. Okay, the people who D&D hobby, they talk glowingly about absolute piles of human shit movies like Krull. Or, I mean, I'm sorry. I mean, the movies that people just go, those are the Sword and the Sorcerer. Those are terrible freaking movies.
I've got Krull, but I've also got the Riff Tracks thing to go along with it.
I mean, I'm sorry. I mean, those are really, really bad movies, and that's what we had up till now. That's what we had. We had really, really bad fantasy movies that were the Beastmaster. I'm sorry, the Beastmaster is awful. It's freaking awful. And people go, oh, man, the Beastmaster, coolest movie ever. No, if you're 16-year-old and you got stoned for the first time, you watch it back in 1978. Yeah, it might be good, but no, it's not good. It's a terrible.
What about Hawk the Slayer?
Oh, terrible,
but fun. How about that?
I could give that, but I'm just saying is that we're spoiled by the fact that we've had garbage up until now. We've had garbage literally up until, I guess, well, I mean, the first D&D movie was garbage, but I mean,
until Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings, pretty much. And I mean, Lady Hawk was okay. I liked that movie. I thought, the Conan movies were okay. They were fine. I don't know, Clash of the Titans, I guess. Can you throw that in there? I was okay.
Harryhausen, always good.
Yeah. But for the most part, it's been slim pickings, folks. Slim pickings. And so people should just be extremely happy you have a D&D movie that they took, the studio took seriously. The actors, I thought they all took it seriously, and all thought you could tell they're having a good time. And I think that was important too, because I don't think anybody in the first Dungeons & Dragons movie was having a good time except for Jeremy
Irons. Jeremy Irons.
Oh God, he was chewing
they were him and his henchmen. They were having a ham.
Oh my God, they had to have gotten together. Yeah, they had to have gotten together before then and said, okay, this script is garbage. What are we going to do to make this fun? Let's just go over the top. Okay, let's do it. I'm going to wear blue lipstick. What are you going to do? I'm going to scream every line I have. Those two guys
I compare the 2000 D&D movie to Honor Among Thieves as you would think Lord of the Rings to the Bakshi version of Lord of the Rings. It was good. They tried real hard, but I'd rather watch Peter Jackson.
Yeah, I am one of those that was not very pleased with the Bakshi version, but once again, it has its people that love it. Oh my God, the Bakshi version, so much better.
I saw it in the theaters when it first came out.
You can't. So I'll tell you what. There's one kind of movie fan you can't trust, Glenn. That's a fantasy movie fan, because they're going to find something they like and they just like it a lot.
They'll latch onto it.
Yeah, it can have rubber monsters and rubber swords.
Movie fandom is filled with all kinds of. I mean, there are people who love the tackiest sword and sandal movies, or martial arts movies, or kaiju movies, and they just love it. And a lot of it, you know what it is? Nostalgia.
Right. Sure.
A lot.
You saw it when you were 16 years old. Yeah, you saw.
Sometimes you can look at a movie and go. Sometimes you look at a movie as an adult and go, "I like this," but there's a lot of people who go, "Oh yeah, I remember this."
I was sitting in the movie theater in 1981 or 82 and saw Sword and the Sorcerer, and I remember thinking, this is pretty bad, but I mean, this is probably the best fantasy movie we're ever going to get.
Dragon Slayer was pretty good.
Yeah, that wasn't bad. Actually, the special effects of Dragon Slayer weren't horrible either. So
right.
But yeah, that was 81, 82, right? That was in that range.
Yeah, something like that. Anyway.
But yeah, for the most part, look, you just took what you got, and you just smiled and said, "Please, sir, can I have another?" Because
this.
Now we're sitting there going, "Oh, we have people, whining that, oh, this was terrible because in one scene they cast a spell and her pinky moved this way, and everybody knows when you cast a spell, the pinky moves in." I mean, come on, people, just look at what you had before. Go watch Krull 15, and then put a Beastmaster and Hawk the Slayer after just for an aperitif.
They nailed stuff more than their shortcomings. I mean, so.
Yeah.
I think that was a great representation of stuff like the Harpers, the Red Wizards.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you got the general. Okay, these guys are bad guys. They're really bad. They're really bad guys, and they do these really bad things. So I mean, and they didn't have to chew up scenery like Jeremy Irons did in first D&D movie. They played it subtle. You knew this. You knew the bald-headed chick was bad news. And I mean. Yeah, they did a lot better.
And basically they kind of what they got right. Now let's see what they're going to do with it.
So whoever said the legend was a good. Okay, look, it had a hot young Mia Sara in there. That's one point. It had Tim Curry as the bad guy. That's I'll give it a point there. Tom frickin'
Cruise is the good guy.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't think it was a good game.
I love Chris. I love the first two Mummy movies. That is
God, so good.
It's so pulp it hurts.
That was another one where I think they hit the nail on the head with the Mummy movie because why they didn't take it seriously. They had jokes and fun, and yes, the monster was terrible and he killed people and it was scary in parts, but they had a great time and you loved Brendan Fraser in there. And you love the female leader's name escapes right now, and the dumb brother was annoying, but he's the comedy relief,
Mm-hmm. And Ansanama was hot.
Oh yeah,
yes.
And
anyway.
so I thought they hit the first two Mummy movies hit the nail on the head. Unfortunate for the third movie, it was, but the first two were great, especially the first one. Did a great job, and that's another one I think, like I said, hit the nail on the head because nobody remembers this 20 years ago, but there was a whole group of people that said the Mummy's too silly, it's funny, and it shouldn't be funny at all, man. The Universal Pictures Mummy was scary, man. Boris Karloff was scary. I mean, no.
Well, if Universal had followed the formula of the Mummy movies, they would have had a dark universe by now.
Oh, right, but instead they did that Tom Cruise
remake
that just they absolutely crashed and burned because it was too serious. And
then there was Van Helsing, which I liked, but nobody else seemed to like. Hugh Jackman.
I vaguely remember that one. That vaguely.
Van Helsing, yeah. Anyway, we're getting off topic here. Role-playing games.
We're once again.
Have a good
role-playing movies. Role-playing movies.
No. Listen, this has never been on topic. All right, Friday.
Hey, we talked about D&D and the fantasy movie, so we're in the ballpark.
So let's get back to review. So pay to play reviews. I missed your video and I missed first part of the show. Sum it up for me real quick. What is going on out there that I need to watch out for, Eric? 50 words or less. What's happening that got you hotter than the car?
A moral stance. Don't accept reviews by reviewers that are being paid to show that shit. Personally, that's what it comes down to. And we know there are people out there that are taking money to push product in the gaming sphere and may or may not clearly state that they are doing so because they're being paid. But I mean, if you're going to have integrity, if your word's going to mean anything, getting paid to talk about something, you better be saying right out from the start, hey, just so you know, I'm talking about the latest fantasy heartbreaker, and I am being paid to present this. Now is anybody going to do that? No, because it goes, well, I can't do that because then nobody's going to pay me. Well, guess what? You shouldn't be fucking getting paid then. You got to be honest about it. Listen, earlier today, I prepared a post. I just put it out there for Skeeter's Kickstarter, Underland. And I started out by saying, I'm a huge fan of Skeeter's writing, and I've considered myself a very good friend of Skeeter for the last half a decade. Know my connections. If I have connections with somebody, I'm going to talk about their shit. Know my connections. Now, Skeeter's not paying me for this to talk about stuff, but I have a connection with Skeeter. I happen to like the guy. I happen to consider him a friend. If I'm going to talk about his stuff, you should know that maybe I am predisposed or I have a positive bias in his favor. If I'm talking about, I don't know, the pundit's latest product, I might go, well, he has a history of good product. He can be an annoying personality in the gaming sphere. And personally, I don't like the way he shills his own shit. However, you got to put those biases out there. I like to think I do a decent job about doing it. Probably I don't do a good enough job. I'm sure I can improve it. But the vast majority of people on YouTube or on blogs don't mention any of their connections, any of their biases, and yeah. You're gonna get me on a rant there, Michael.
But isn't that's the whole point of being a streamer anyway? Is you're probably getting paid for stuff. I mean, look,
influencer,
when Jenny D does broadcast now, I will say Jenny D says up front, I'm using this color makeup, or I'm using these fangs for my aura. I mean, she says up front, I'm using these, and here's what I thought about it. So she doesn't hide the fact that she's being compensated for her time to do a whatever,
which is
10-minute video or 5-minute video. So I don't mind that.
It's those that aren't very clear about it, and it's like, wow, they're really. I mean, I am fucking annoyed that a jackass over on in one of those. Again, the right has their own issues with me, but to the left accusing me of being paid to shill stuff, I was like, listen, if you're going to talk shit about me, at least be accurate.
You don't even shill. What do you shill? You don't even shill anything that I know of.
Well, on the blog, I highlight again today. I highlighted Skeeter's Kickstarter,
but you highlight tons of stuff.
Exactly, and I guess the assumption is
across the spectrum of
nobody. And folks, nobody pays me. Nobody pays me. Nobody. No, and if I get a product to review, I tell you, hey, I was sent this copy in PDF or in print. It's a comped copy.
Yeah.
You know what? It doesn't take much to actually be honest. It doesn't. Integrity doesn't come cheap. However, it's not expensive.
But the same reason though that the online video gamers won't tell the truth, because obviously they don't want to be cut off from a studio.
Right.
It's the same reason that a lot of streamers won't tell the truth, because they're afraid WotC won't send them a free $50 book.
In the amusement park world, if you're an influencer and Disney decides to let you in on stuff and go to their functions and stuff, you better not say anything bad about them or their function. They will cut you off like that.
Well, I said it at the beginning of the show, but years ago, I don't know how it is now, but years ago, if you were a drive-through featured reviewer, and I was before I started self-publishing, you got PDF comp copies, review copies. And the deal was you could not give lower than 3 stars on their site for anything that you got a comped copy of. you could do whatever you wanted to on your own blog or your YouTube channel, but on their site, it couldn't be less than 3 stars.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a lot of stuff that I was like, well, I would like to review it and point out the problems, but according to them, I can't do it. Now, is that going to give you, should you value what a featured reviewer is reviewing? Well, either they're only going to review stuff that they think is really good, which is fine, but it also means that they're going to give 3 stars to shit. That's the lowest they can go. So, I don't know.
No, I mean, you're right. I agree. I just didn't know. I guess I didn't know it was that big a problem in the gaming review.
It's getting there. It's getting there. And I think that, you want to head that off while there's still integrity to be had in the process.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I always figured anybody reviewing WotC stuff was probably shilling. I figured that. I mean, I guess WotC doesn't put out very good stuff. So if you're giving it a 5-star review, you're a shill. I just always figured that, especially
I like the way the pages fall out so I can shuffle them in my own order for later.
That just makes it easier for me to 3-hole punch it all and put it in a notebook. So
that's the biggest selling point is the ease I can remove these pages. Holy crap. That's awesome.
I like it when they fall. It's great. I can make my own book out of it.
The monstrous compendium. What a bad idea.
Oh my God. I had to get those paper.
And I have a set of them.
Yeah, you had to get those, and it wasn't just you had to put them on both sides of the page if you wanted any hope of that page surviving use at the table. It was bad.
Well, Well, whenever you buy as many collections as I do, you end up with these giant books that have every single monster compendium all put in there. And I have one set, I think it's 3 volumes. It's got A through Z, every single monster compendium there. I have that at the warehouse. I use that for my reference because I could just flip through there and there's Spelljammer monsters, Ravenloft, Greyhawk, Forgotten Realms. I mean,
I bought three volumes of those at half price books, and the third one was like 5 or 6 of the supplements.
Wow!
In one set.
We need a half price books here in New York. Don, we get this all the time. We ask how to submit for review, and we are asked how much is our budget for reviews, or we are flat out total cost and it's scaled to 104 or 5-star. Listen, I've had people. And listen, I don't think ill of them when I get somebody offered hey, how much is it to highlight my Kickstarter? I go, it's simple. You just send me an email or a PM and say I have a Kickstarter, and if I find it interesting, I'll highlight it. That's the cost. It's a little bit of your time. How long does it take you to make a personal message and say, hey, Tenkar, love your blog. Yeah, you're blowing smoke up my ass, but whatever. Would you take a look at my Kickstarter, and if you like it, will you highlight it? How simple is that? It costs you nothing. Okay, if somebody wants you to pay for a review, I'm sorry, man. It's like it's like paying for sex. All right, you shouldn't have.
I just ask for a copy of the product. That's all, and a PDF so I can say, I can print out stuff to show Michelle. But it's like, when somebody sends me something like a book or whatever, I feel obligated to give them a review.
A good
and that's a review.
Okay.
Now, my reviews are always on the positive side. I have pointed out a couple of things. Usually it's a nitpicky thing. Usually it's like, oh, I didn't like this, I didn't like that. But on the whole, it's a good product. I mean, I'm not trying to say everybody, I'm not trying to blow smoke or anything like that. But, that's the way I want to do it, because I personally don't like bad reviews, but I'm still going to give the product a fair shake. Lloyd told me a few cons ago, he hasn't put anything out for a while, but he said, you're always going to get a copy of my stuff. I said, why? He said, because you review it. I've sent copies of stuff to people. They say they're going to review it. They never review it. He said, you always review it. I said, and I always will, come hell or high water. I haven't done a lot of YouTube videos lately, but if something like this, I mean, I'm going to be doing a review of this pretty soon. soon as I get through it. And I bought that. So, I can review it or not review it if I want.
Well, you've already bought it too. So I mean, Matt's not going to send you $25 in the mail after you review it. I mean, it's already been purchased, and
and hopefully, it won't send me hate mail if I don't like it. No, I'm just kidding. I will love it because I love the first edition. In fact, anybody want the first edition? I got one over here. Anyway,
I got all 3 editions over here. They're all signed by Matt Finch. I can't decide which ones I want to sell or if I
know it's the other day I was going.
Same content. I just don't. I don't know.
I was there. I said you were there for 4 days and you didn't get Matt to sign this. What's wrong with you?
Oh, I missed out on so many signatures, Glenn. I had a whole box of stuff there to get signed. I didn't get any Zeb stuff to be signed. I had a whole bunch of Zeb stuff.
Did you?
I did get Darlene to sign a few things.
He did all mine already.
I don't know. I screwed up. I didn't get it near as many pictures.
I bought my friend Carlos a set of Hyperborea, and he was starstruck when he saw Jeff Delaney in there. And I said, "Here, okay." I paid Jeff, and I said, "Now, what are you going to do?" What? Have him sign it. Oh yeah, right.
What?
What?
I had a few company asked me to sign their copies of X 1.5, and then B 2.5, which I forget all the time has my name on the cover because I did do sections in those, and I don't feel like I should be signing them because I'm like, okay, Tom Wilson and Charlie Phipps really wrote these. I did a chapter. Okay, so but your name's on the cover. Like, all right, I'll sign it, but I feel very unworthy to sign anything like that because
I got a pad of BX character sheets that Richard gave me over at New Big Dragon. He says, "Here, take these, see if they're any good." Because he was selling for like $10 a piece, and it's like, okay.
Oh, I didn't see those.
That's the funny thing about Richard. He will hand me anything he's working on, anything that's ready. He's working on, even if he hasn't. And like 2 or 3 cons. I've got stuff here he did that I haven't reviewed because he'd give it to me and say, "Don't review it yet. I'm still revising it."
He would be a much bigger publisher if he put out stuff regularly. I know he does it because he's a professor and he teaches classes, but Richard's stuff is really good. And
yes, it is.
If he'd only put out one thing a year, he would have tons of people. But his output is so. He has all these projects that are ready to go that aren't really ready to go yet. That's the problem. He has so many things he's working on, but his stuff is always really good.
And his books are like, I mean, the Sandbox D30 Sandbox. D30,
those are great.
Those and that Creature Cache. That's one of the best monster books I've ever read.
It is very cool.
I mean, he outdid himself with that one.
Is that the one where he has the public art of the monster and then he made a monster using BX? Right. Those are excellent. Cannot say enough. Those are great.
That's New Big Dragon Games, folks.
Yes, look him up.
Give him some love.
Valley of the Five Winds is a 3 Castles Award winner, and it beat some really big names that year because it's really good. It's a very good campaign.
Good. Yeah, and his BX screen package is
his D30 books are really good. All his D30 books are very useful. They're all really good.
And you can always buy a D30 from him.
I have D30s just so I can use Richard LeBlanc's books with them. Then I don't have to roll a 10-sided die and a 6-sided die. So
there you go.
Is that how you do it? I've never done it. No.
That's how you can fake it.
Or you just get a 30-sided die. You could get a 30-sided die, or get one of Raggy's 48-sided dies, which I have one now. I don't know what I'll ever use it for, but
I think I have one. I bought some MCC funky dice for a while. I think I have a 48-sided die in there.
I don't think it's part of it.
No? Okay.
No.
Well, whatever.
It's just something Raggy did as part of his something. I can't remember.
I would have loved to have one of those just to say.
Yes, 48 choices on them. So you're supposed to use the 48-sided die with that. So
very nice.
We are hitting the 2-hour and 10-minute mark. Oh my God. See what happens when we allow strangers in the room?
I just want to find out what you're about this week. No, you're the legend. I'm the homeless man that just wandered into the assembly.
Excuse me, you got a weekly Wednesday show. What are you complaining about?
We don't that we have to talk to people and say I would just talk to Eric the whole time about shit like this, but we have to talk to people because you never know what comes out, right? Because we had a ball last week, and we know? I mean, yes, we knew we had fun with Skeeter, but we didn't know it was going to turn into the wild, crazy thing that it was last year. And that's why you do a show, right? You invite these people on. You don't know what's going to happen. We had Kelsey on. We talked for 3 hours. We didn't know that was going to happen. We don't plan for these things,
Right.
And then other times, Eric and I are looking at our watch. Now, we don't say that online. We don't say we never talk about that. Sometimes we're just like, another half an hour. Oh, dear God, another half an hour.
Actually, we haven't had a guest like that in like 2 years.
No, not really. Not for a long time.
Yeah, somebody like Peterson gets on.
We have had.
You just listen.
We have had those before where it's like,
early on. We've got
a good idea. What a good idea. Yeah. Let's get some surefire ratings bonanzas like Skeeter and guys like that. So
remember when we brought Glen Seal on? That was a good show. He was on the show.
Yeah, that's right.
He was on the show. That was a good show. And we had Mark Hunt on here. Mark's always good. He's always got stories.
But we really missed Mark at the con. That would have been
I know.
That's too bad.
I told him, damn it, you're going to be
he would have had a great time.
Year. Get over here.
He would have loved it. He would have loved it.
Yeah, you run your stuff, meet some people, meet some new people.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot of new people at that con.
Lots of new people this year. He could have spread the word of Grand Gangbusters far and wide across the universe.
Yeah, Tall Tales. And just walking through the room, the one thing you'd always hear is, I'm coming back next year.
Yep.
Yeah.
Gary's Gary's up to, but Gary will have. I think I'm gonna do a spoiler here. A spoiler alert. I think we're gonna have tickets up next week. Gary said he's already close to getting it done.
Gage and I have already got our badges. So.
But I think our discounted tickets will be up. He said it might be today, but I'm looking. I don't see anything about today. So I'm thinking next week.
For the whole, it's $100 per head for a whole 4 days, but for the first month, what is it, 30% off or something like that?
I think it's 20%. It might be $20 off. But you know what? Gary Con raised their rates to $125, so we're cheaper than Gary Con, folks.
Yes.
$125 for a weekend.
But it's whether
we're set at DFW.
Or
you don't have to go to tiny little Lake Geneva in the middle of nowhere, Wisconsin.
Drive a 2-hour drive.
Yeah, 100 or the discount. Either way, it's a great value. It's a great value. I go to cheap cons anyway. I'm a cheap bastard. So you're my kind of cheap.
There you go.
And when you go to the con, buy stuff from Mike. I didn't
or
this year.
Or any of the vendors. Just buy from the vendors. The vendors all had every vendor did well like usual, and it was great.
This is the first year I did not buy from you. I was surprised.
I don't think you did. That's true.
Yeah.
I didn't.
You
buy
have
very
everything.
much at all.
You have everything. You don't have. I don't have anything you need anymore.
Yeah, I don't even look at the Judges Guild stuff. It's like I probably got it.
It's the same stuff. You have.
It's the same stuff.
Unless you want a copy of 50 star bases. No, you don't need. You don't.
I still have that.
Star bases, please.
I still have that whack ass Castles and Crusades book I got from you last time with 2 books in one with the BX cover on it.
Yeah, the one. Yeah, those were the ones that Brent or Bar. I can't remember Brent that he had printed up himself that. We couldn't legally really sell them, but I could sell them under the table, which I did to a bunch of people that came up. So, yeah, those were great. Those were all POD. There's a whole bunch of nice POD books in that stack.
Yeah, I think even Vince picked something up there. Mm-hmm. And I got he had Blood of Heroes.
The name we can't mention.
Yes. Blood of Heroes I got up there. That's a find.
You're going to kill the show, Glenn.
What, Blood of Heroes?
No, not
that. Just
can't mention.
Get over it.
That will not be mentioned.
Get over it.
Oh
my God. Oh, there's our outro music.
Oh no,
there's our outro music.
Yeah.
It sounds like he has to be done with the live stream now.
Hey, we've done 3 hours before.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Okay.
Yes. But
folks,
yeah.
Thanks to everybody in the live audience.
Yeah, I guess we are.
It was really good. Thanks to Bad Mike for jumping in.
Yes, thanks for letting me jump in. Oh, I had a very flimsy excuse, but I we'll take it.
It was good. It was good. It was fun.
A very flimsy excuse to jump in because I love to talk to Glenn. I talk to Eric all the time. I'd love to talk to Glenn.
You didn't have
so
enough
what can I say?
I'm
guilty. Right? I'm guilty of wanting to talk to Glenn.
Tanker's got to sponsor a podcast for us. Movies and gaming with Bad Mike and Glenn. I don't know.
We have no sponsor. We have sponsor no sponsor. Sorry to tell you that. Folks, live stream tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Myself, my wife Rach. Should be a good time. It's Gamers Health.
I will not jump in for that one. I will not horn in.
If we bring one of these two in, there'll be a
no. I won't. I have too many medical problems. It'll take another hour to talk about medical issues.
I listen. It's we all have it, and folks who think they're the only one suffering. Guess what? You're not. But that's for tomorrow. Other than that, folks, as always, be safe, be well. God bless. Roll those dice, roll them well. Tomorrow,
listen to Thako's Hammer. Listen to Radio Grognard, and that week I'm in.
Yes, Radio Grognard, definitely Radio.
And that week I'm not going to be on the show. I'm going to be in New Mexico. I'm probably going to take a week off from that too. Just want to let you know.
And we may have a special after school edition of Dodge's Discourse.
A very special episode.
A very special episode that week.
Of Triple D, yeah.
Yes. All right, folks. God bless. Good night.
Night, folks. Good night.
Later.